And we are back, guys. Coming up now is Myth197 running The Legend of Zelda the Minish cap any %. And the file we'll be using will be stunk. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Myth197 and we're going to be playing The Legend of Zelda the Minish cap. Starting off this run, we're going to do a hard reset of the game in order to do a trick right now, so I'm going to do that. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Joined with me on commentary, we've got Hendris, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. I'm a fellow Minish cap runner, and yeah, we're going to be doing this.
The Legend of Zelda Minish cap was it was one of the last 2D Zelda games, and it was released right at the end of the GBA's life cycle. So it came out right before the DS came out. Here in Europe, yeah.
Yeah, so actually the European version and the Japanese versions are, earlier than US. The European version is even an earlier build of the JP version. They both released in 2004 in Europe and in Japan, and it released like 2005 in the US. So it actually released in the US as a Gameboy game while the DS was already out.
Yeah, so it turned out the game was much more popular here in Europe, and it was kind of a hidden gem Zelda game. It wasn't very popular at all. Not many people managed to play it, but if you have played this game, you'll know how an absolute joy of a game this is to play. If you're a Zelda fan and you enjoyed Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, or A Link to the Past, and you've never played this game, you definitely want to pick it up and give it a go. It'll give you lots of nostalgia.
Yeah, we're actually going to do the first RNG manipulation here. As Myth turns to Zelda, basically, the internal RNG is already being decided, and it's mostly being decided by rolls, sword slashes, stuff like that. And we're going to manip a 5 rupee to appear in a pot here. We're just going to pick up.
Runners alive, we didn't lose 2 minutes.
Oh boy. But yeah, starting from now on, the first, I want to say 18 to 20 minutes are largely vanilla. We're just, speeding through the game, trying to not get damaged or die, if possible.
Oh yeah, the first dungeon is actually one of the most trickiest because it's full of enemies, and we're only going to be on 3 hearts for the vast majority of it. Whereas later on in the game, we'll be on much more health, so it'll be less likely that we'll die. And we also have backups, like you can grab bottles with fairies and stuff to make sure we don't die.
Yeah. Ideally, we're going to end the game at 7 hearts, which still is very little when compared to the damage output of some of the enemies. For example, the Dark Knights, which are, very prevalent in the last dungeon, Dark Hollow Castle, those can deal up to 6 hearts of damage with 1 fell swoop. And, that's going to be a bit tight.
So I am playing on a emulator for the Game Boy Advance version of this game. There is actually a Wii U Virtual Console version which is much faster. It's basically exactly the same as the GBA version, but the saves manage to save the game about 2 seconds faster at every save. So it's just straight up faster to run on the Wii U. But I don't have a Wii U, so I'm playing on PC emulator.
Yeah. Apart from the Wii U, we also have a Virtual Console version on the 3DS, but that is on the Ambassador version of the 3DS, so it's not really available anymore. Which means that, either you have to get a proper GBA with a capture card, or a Wii U.
I think this game the 3DS version is basically the same speed as the GBA.
I don't know. I don't think we've actually... Have we tested that? I don't know.
So what's going on in the story right now? So we're friends with Zelda, and there's this big festival going on at the moment called the Picori Festival, and she just took us around the festival and was showing all of the cool stuff that was going on in there. She went into a lottery and won the lottery, and then gave us a shield. So that's our first item that we're getting in this. And now during this cutscene, they were talking about a sword fighting competition that just went ahead, and the winner of the competition is this guy called Vati. And he was going to be presented with a sword, but then he...
Turns out he's been the bad guy. He broke the sword. He broke the sword and, released all those monsters that were hidden in, more or less Pandora's box. So, yeah. As far as the lore goes, Minish Cap is actually... It's at the beginning of the timeline. So it's even for... it's before Queen of Time, but it's after Skyward Sword. And, yeah. So, the Picori that, were, teased in the Picori Festival are little thumb-sized creatures, and they are actually the explanation why Link can find rupees and other goodies when he slashes grass or if he breaks pots, because those little fellas like to hide those things for the humans.
So in the story right now, the king has just sent all of the guards out to try and hunt down Vati, and we've been tasked with the Picori blade that was just destroyed, and we need to go and find the Picori people and try and reconstruct the sword.
Yeah, and as it turns out, only children with pure hearts can see it. That's why they send Link, who's probably around 10 years old in this game, off to this quest. But yeah, our first destination is going to be Deepwood Shrine, which is this game's False Temple. It's fairly standard. It's the introductory dungeon, more or less. And yeah.
And here we're getting an introduction to the main movement in this game. So the main difficulty in moving throughout this game is going to be that enemies move randomly, and we want to try and avoid them as much as possible. But every time you go through a room, the enemies are going to be in different positions. So as a runner, it requires a lot of
adaptability.
Yeah, adaptability and quick reflexes to quickly judge okay, the enemies are in these positions, so I need to move in this way to avoid them.
Yeah, Coming is actually our little companion. Much like different Zeldas, Minish Cap has a companion. It's not a fairy, it's not a sassy imp, but instead it's an old and cranky, weird hat thingy that can talk. So yeah, this is Ezlo, and he's basically our tour guide and companion throughout the game. And as turns out, he's probably also very magically gifted, as his top priority, apart from pushing us for 1 pixel here, is that he can shrink us. To help us find the Minish. He's gonna help us, and at certain intervals, or in certain places, he can shrink us down to the size of a Minish, using portals.
So you might have noticed something a little bit weird what happened when I jumped onto that portal. I did a sword slash as I jumped onto it, and Link didn't do his normal jumping animation onto the portal. Instead he did the sword slashing animation as he flew onto the portal. That is actually a glitch called portal items, where we use an item as we jump onto a portal. We're not going to see that glitch again until much later on in the run. It's going to be about 50 minutes in. And it's going to be an important glitch to skip a large part of a dungeon, but we're just doing an introduction of that there.
Yeah. Portal items is going to be only important later on. And I think, apart from that one dungeon where we use it, that's the only the only place we actually use it. And yeah, so this is the Minish village, and these are the Minish. Contrary to popular belief, they don't hold knives in their hands, but those are feathery tails. But yeah, one issue that Link currently faces is that he can't understand the Picori. In every build of the game, they speak a different language. in EU, I think, they just talk backwards. And now Link has to find the so-called Jabber nut, so that, you know, once he eats the nut, he can speak to the Picori for some reason. He can speak backwards. And, yeah.
Yeah, so we just grabbed that, so now we can talk to them, and we're going to head over to the Minish Elder, and he's going to explain what our quest is going to be.
Yeah, because as it turns out, not all Minish can actually repair the Sacred Blade. That can only be done. That can only be done by the mining Minish or Picori up in Krennel, which is like this game's version of Death Mountain. But yeah, the Elder just sent us on our way into Deepwood Shrine. Additionally to, like, you know, the restored blade, we also need something along the lines of power, you know, to give the blade its magical abilities. And this power will come in form of 4 elements, you know, earth, water, fire, and wind. So we are going to need to actually pick up all 4 elements to reforge this game's Sacred Blade. And the funny thing about Deepwood Shrine is that it's so slow. Just because our companion likes to notify us of the most inconsequential things. You know, oh look, there's a door, you can open it. Oh look, it's a locked door, you can also unlock that.
Yeah, Eslo's the ultimate backseater.
Yeah. And
it's like, this is how you solve this puzzle.
Bad thing is that, so the trigger whenever Eslo pops up, it's like, you know, it's a regional trigger on the ground, and if you roll into that trigger, Eslo will take another second or 2 to actually pop up, which means that we want to avoid rolling into Eslo triggers. That's basically this game's little pet peeve.
Yeah, that dictates how we're going to be doing a lot of these rooms. So you may notice that I won't do a roll in places where it was like you could have rolled there to save some time, but well, no, actually we were specifically avoiding doing a roll there so we don't accidentally roll into the Eslo triggers.
Yeah. But when compared to like the other enemies here, these are our concerns.
Nice RNG from this spot.
Ooh, yeah. So yeah, as you may have noticed, this game's big gimmick is basically that Link can shrink to the size of a thumb. And some of the dungeons that we're going to use, that we're going to visit, namely this one and the 4th one, those are in Minish size only, in Picori size. They're called Picori in like the American version, but I think they usually refer to themselves as Minish. That's why, you know, it's called the Minish cap. And Eslo is the titular Minish cap.
Yeah, so this is being played on the BizHawk emulator on PC. It's running, it's doing a GBA emulation. This game has quite a vibrant modding scene, and we're actually using a couple of Lewis scripts in combination with the ROM. So that's what you're seeing as the input display in the bottom left corner. That's not part of the regular game. That's a Lewis script that has been constructed by the community to nicely display what buttons are being pressed.
Yeah. I suppose it's not as big as, you know, other games. Modding scene. But to be fair, since Minish Cap is like so underrated and underplayed, I think it's even like the 2nd worst selling Zelda.
It's got a really lucky heart drop.
Yeah, we want to see that heart. There's a backup heart just in the next room, but you know.
I do need to get it now.
Yeah. But yeah, upcoming is the first actually mini-boss, which is just like a little caterpillar. That, it's not actually that little when you're also very small. So yeah, this is Caterpillar. I think as a child in my first actual playthrough, where I was like, I don't know, 6, 7 I suppose, that mini-boss took me like 2 days to figure out how to beat it.
Okay, we did it in 2 cycles. It's frustrating when we get it in 3, but that was good.
Yeah. Here we go. So this is the Gus Jar. This is an item that has only reappeared in Skyward Sword in a different form. Basically, the Gus Jar is like a magical vacuum. We don't know how much fits into it, and I don't think we want to know that. But it's one of this game actually has loads and loads of unique items that aren't really seen after that. Like you've got your essentials like the sword, the shield, the boomerang, bow, the bombs, but then you've got things like the gas jar, and later on the cane of Apache and the mole mitts that you don't really see anymore.
Oh yeah, the cane's a very unique item to this game. No other Zelda game has an item quite like it.
Yeah, it looks a bit like the Sumaria cane from I think A Link to the Past, but it behaves absolutely different. We're gonna see that later on. Because the cane is the item of the next dungeon that we're gonna enter, which is going to be Cave of Flames. This game's like fire temple. Ooh, nice movement. Haha.
This is the lily pad basement of this dungeon, and most runners absolutely hate this area, and you'll probably see a lot of runners resetting here if they get bad movement.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to control this lily pad.
And the fact that those little flies there, the so-called pestos, that doesn't really help anymore.
Yeah, but we've basically finished everything in this dungeon now. We're just going to grab the boss key and then head to the boss.
Yeah. Moments reappeared in Skyward Sword. It's been ages since I played Skyward Sword. I need to replay that.
Oh, the randomizer has just been made for Skyward Sword.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay. But yeah, we're done with Depot Shrine more or less. Only thing left is the boss. Which is going to be the lovely green chew. If you remember those little green slimy thingies you see in Wind Waker, this is one of them, but it's different from the others. Well, not necessarily.
It's completely normal, Hendris. It's that we're small.
Yeah.
We are a small boy.
Yeah, we're like the size of a thumb, and just regular sized enemies are pretty humongous in comparison to us right now. So usually the green shoe is an enemy that can be killed within like 2 sword slashes. However, since we are wielding a needle right now, we need a few more than those. But yeah, this boss is just, it's pretty standard. Use the dungeon item to weaken it, and then, use the sword to damage it, actually. Nice, getting a bit of bad RNG here.
No, I've just messed that up.
But yeah, apart from that, this game is fun. It's actually fairly quick to complete. As you can see, our estimate time is like 1:48. It's about 10 minutes slower than current world record, which is 1:37:38. And yeah, I think if we don't find any more glitches, it's very difficult to actually lower that world record anymore. Just because this game, it's not really that optimized when compared to other Zelda games, but it's very difficult to get into like top 5 territory.
Oh yeah, this the top like 3 or 4 runners are just like absolutely insane at this game. My golds on each of these splits are like still 10 seconds off literally the world record run.
Yeah,
it's insane how incredible the top runners are at this game.
Yeah, especially considering Myth is placed 15th on the leaderboard right now. But yeah, now we're finished with Depot Shrine and Chitauri, which is the Minish Elder here. He shows us the way out of Minish Woods because this game loves its flags. If you take a look behind the scenes of Minish Cap, a lot of things are coded via flags, and this game does not make any assumptions. It's very, very, very difficult to find like a little exploit or, just a little something that we could exploit.
Yeah, so like, for example, in Ocarina of Time, if you have the last 2 medallions, it assumes that you have all of the other ones. So that's all you need to do for a lot of the speedruns, is just get the last 2 medallions, and then it will let you into the final dungeon. But in this game, no, it won't assume that you've... if you get the last element, it won't assume that you have the other ones. You do actually need to go and collect them all.
Yeah, this game is definitely one of the most stable and least broken Zeldas out there. At least when compared to like Ocarina of Time or even Link to the Past. Those games have categories, those games have glitches that, had to get their own category because they're so powerful, like SRM or the exploration glitch from Link to the Past. Minish Cap, while it has a variant of the exploration glitch, is nowhere near as broken.
Yeah, so what's going on at the moment is, well, we picked up the bomb bag from one of the Minish as we were leaving Minish village. And now we've come back to town after the festival is over. And we met up with this hurdy-gurdy guy, and he wanted to teach us about the kinstone fusing mechanic. And we don't want to talk to him, so we just did a save and quit there to make him go away.
Yeah.
But what we really want to do is come to the dojo and learn the spin attack.
Yeah, there's a guard up north that won't let us through unless we show him the spin attack. And yeah, kinstones. Kinstones are a horrible but yet fantastic way to introduce content into Minish Cap. Just because... So basically the kinstone system is...
Oh, very quickly, I'm about to do a trick here.
Oh, shit.
This is called guard skip. We're going to trick the game into thinking that the last bit of ground we were touching was right next to the guard, so then when we drown, it will put us there and we can get past the guard without having to talk to him.
Yeah, we can basically outspeed the guard. This skip actually does not save any time at all when compared to the, just showing him the spin. It's just there for swag points.
Yeah, we have to do it another time later on in the run, which is why it's slower. But yeah, so we just talked to a scrub and grabbed a bottle, which is going to be important for other parts of the run, but we also need it to do anything in Mount Grenell.
Yeah, so what you may have seen earlier when Myth uncovered the scrub wall there was that the bomb did a little bounce. That's called roll lifting. Roll lifting is one of the multious frame-perfect tricks we have in Minish Cap. Basically, it just shortens the fuse timer. And, it's a nice safe strat. Sorry, it's a nice speed strat to, just save a few seconds here and there. But it's not...
This game it does run at 60 FPS, so a frame-perfect input is... that was 2 in a row as well. That's quite nice. There is another glitch we're going to be doing later in the run, which is also frame perfect. This game does like its frame perfect tricks at 60 FPS.
Yeah, it's great, and it's also it's always a joy to run. Just because. So for the bomb roll lifts here, if you miss one, not a big of a deal. You lose maybe a second. For the other one, however, the so-called Ocarina glitch that we're gonna use like an hour in. If you mess it up, first of all, if you mess it up means that if you get it and you do a wrong input or you do something wrong, you can soft lock the game. But if you try to get OG, which is the Ocarina glitch, and you fail it, you always lose like 2 to 3 seconds. Just because of, how it works, which we're gonna explain later.
So just now we picked up some Mountain Dew in a bottle. The first plant that we watered was a blue plant, so we obviously water it with water. But we're about to come across a plant which is green, so we're going to have to use Mountain Dew on it.
Yeah.
It's not actually Mountain Dew. It's Colonel Hot Spring water.
It's mineral water. It's like it's that healthy kind of water. But because of its color and the fact that we pick it up on a mountain, it's the Mountain Dew. But yeah, that's the
we're on a mountain, aren't we? I didn't put that together.
But yeah, Link is surprisingly strong as a Minish. Despite him needing a few power bases, he can pick up a beam and, just lift it like it's no big deal. It's gotta be one...
Yeah, who needs the power bracelets?
Unfortunately, we do, in glitchless. Yeah. So the power bracelets were actually like point of contention in any percent. Up until a few years ago, we actually needed to get the power bracelets. And
yeah, the power bracelets let Minish-sized Link be able to lift objects that he would normally be able to lift as a normal-sized person.
Yeah, it's just to push pods in the second to last dungeon. That's the only time we actually need the power bracelets in glitchless.
And it would take a very long time to collect it in the speedrun. And about a year ago, we discovered a trick to avoid having to do that in the speedrun and saving quite a large amount of time.
Yeah.
Go away. Oh, that's fine. I'm going to go back for backup health here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of enemies here on Mount Krenel, so there's lots of RNG involved in being able to get through without getting hit.
Yeah, loads of RNG and loads of enemies that actually are annoying. Not as annoying as the golden variants of the enemies, which you can unlock via the kinstones. So the kinstones are little pieces of something that you can pick up, and basically you always pick up the left-hand side of a kinstone, which is like a round disc thingy. They're broken into two pieces. You always have the left side, and the NPCs always have the right side. And you know, if you connect both of them, as a good something happens, which might be a chest pops up, or the vines in front of a tree disappears, so you can go into the tree. Or a gold enemy spawns, which drops some sort of money.
So just now we bought the grip ring from the scrub, which is the item that's letting us climb up this wall.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we had to do the RNG manipulation at the very beginning of the run to give us a blue rupee, because we combine that with 15 rupees we get at the beginning of Mount Krenel, along with a red rupee in Mount Krenel, to give us enough rupees to be able to buy that.
Yeah. Also, why Ezra says that the raindrops hit as hard as boulders, they actually don't. The boulders do like half a heart of damage, and the raindrops like quarter of a heart. So yeah, this is one of the slowest pieces of gameplay that you're gonna see in Minish Cap. We will need to actually climb around a mountain to get to the Cave of Flames, which is some sort of abandoned mine. And if we were able to skip this, we would probably save like 3 minutes.
Yeah, this speedrun is generally a mullet speedrun. It's business at the front, party at the back. The first hour of the game is basically going to be exactly the same as you would experience as a casual player of the game. But as soon as we get the ocarina from the third dungeon, it's going to get wild.
Yeah. We're going to be able to, walk over walls. We're going to be able to ignore enemies. All that good stuff. But yeah, up in Game of Flames, we're actually going to get our first glimpse at the angle retention glitch. This game doesn't expect Link to actually walk diagonally. And, basically you can retain your angle while pushing and pulling things, meaning that you can push and pull things diagonally, which the game does not know how to deal with. And if we can abuse that, and we can skip a small key and later the big key in Cave of Flames, and a small key in Palace of Winds, which is the second to last dungeon that we're gonna, visit.
I got the swag kill on the Helmasaur as well.
Yeah. But yeah, the upcoming dungeon, Cave of Flames, is also very difficult to traverse without taking damage.
I'm doing really good on health. I didn't need the health drop.
Don't say that too soon.
There's no way I'm going to die to these Moldozers in this next area.
Yeah, there's no reason you're going to die there again, don't you?
Again.
It happened during a weekly race. A monthly race. And that meme just kind of stuck.
That's why I got the extra health before going up here. I didn't want it to happen again.
But yeah, now we're in Malari's mines, and the big fella over there is Malari. And he's like, oh yeah, we can repair the sword. We can't give it its magical properties back, but while you fetch the fire element out of Cave of Flames, we're gonna repair that sword. And, that's what we're doing right now. Because apparently, it takes some sort of special touch of the Minish to actually repair a sword. Don't mind the fact that Link's grandfather in this game is actually the best smith in Hyrule. He's actually called Smith. He's so good at smithing that he's called Smith. But yeah, there we are, Cave of Flames. Myth's a bit low on bombs actually.
Yeah, I had to grab an extra bomb there.
Yeah.
And had to use Gus Jar strats on that. I've not actually had to practice that before.
We never use Gus Jar strats there. But yeah,
that was improv there.
Yeah. Routing on the fly, if you so will.
Oh yeah, talking about routing on the fly, this game does have a randomizer. We're both people that have been heavily involved in the randomizer community. We started out doing randomizer before we got into the speedrun scene.
Yeah, Myth taught me into it. Now I'm doing more speedruns than actually randomizer.
Yeah, we're basically just doing speedruns now.
Yeah. But yeah. Upcoming is the Hammersaw fight. After that, Link is going to abuse this game's mechanic a bit more. Just slipping through a few cracks in the mine. As a small boy.
Yeah, got a really good Helmasaur fight.
Yeah. This fight can last for a while. Simply because of the fact that the Helmasaurs are they're invulnerable at the front. So if you look at them and they look at you, and you try to slash them with a sword, you don't deal damage. You gotta get behind them to actually deal damage, or you have to take off their masks using the Gus Jar. So the Helmasaurs are basically, I suppose there's the small lackeys of the Helmasaur King or the Hemlock King. I don't know, from Link to the Past.
Yeah, Helmasaurs are a reoccurring Zelda enemy.
Yeah.
But Capcom, so this game isn't developed by Nintendo, it was developed by Capcom. So they did quite a few things differently. So they took some of the Zelda enemies, and they also like to take some of the Mario enemies as well. So like Bob-ombs are originally a Mario enemy, but they've just been featured in this game.
Yeah, if you remember the mushrooms in Deepwood Shrine, those were the puff stools from, I think, Pikmin, that they just, shrunk down a bit. But yeah, upcoming is actually the next, proper glitch in Cave of Flames, which is the first angle retention that we use to skip a small key. So what you can see is that Myth basically, he pushes and pulls a pillar diagonally to unload the loading zone of the doorway there. You can use that to, first of all, unload the door zone, and to just clip out of bounds there, which lets us skip a locked door. That's fine. But yeah, so this setup here is actually fairly precise. If you do it wrong, you can actually soft lock, and you need to what's it called? You need to actually save and quit out of there. Yeah, it's very
and we're gonna have a nice fight here.
Yeah.
Except for this guy didn't want to die.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. And that skipped multiple rooms of this dungeon.
Yeah, Myth just skipped 2 to 3 minutes. And he's gonna pick up the Cane of Pachi. This game's magical wand. Well, originally there was supposed to be a fire rod, which we brought back using hacks and mods. But yeah, so far this is the only proper wand that Link can wield here. This magical little thingy has the power to turn things upside down. You can shoot it at a pot. The pot will jump up and plump down upside down. You can shoot it at a rock inside lava pool, and they just flip.
So there's a minecart here that is flipped upside down, so we use the cane on it to flip it upright.
Yeah.
We're going to have a second use of the angle retention right now.
Yeah, which I'm probably going to explain here. So, yeah, by putting that beetle there into the wall, we can just set a hitbox to be inside the wall. And one of the funky advantages that we have with angle retention is that sometimes Link teleports himself a bit while pushing and pulling, as you can see here. We're going to abuse that alongside the hitbox with the Wallabite there to actually damage boost us onto the next layer, into a wall. And this basically lets us skip the big key. And, we can just waltz into the boss chamber without actually having to pick up the big key.
And now we're in the boss.
Yeah.
That is the dungeon over.
Yeah, dungeon's over. The good thing about that is that the big key takes ages to pick up. It probably takes like 5 to 6 minutes because it's a cycle-based, walk over lava puzzle type of thingy.
Yeah, the lava basement of this dungeon is incredibly slow.
Yeah. So we're very glad that we were able to skip that. Hey, Myth! Would you look at that? What's on the walls?
So if you look at the walls, there are pictures of the boss Gleerock on the walls.
Yeah,
the boss that we're fighting right now.
Yeah, the lava press. This game has like loads and loads of little details that we kind of just want to make fun of. Like in most boss chambers, there is either a mural or some sort of thing alluding to the boss inside the actual room. In this case, it's like a little mural of Gleerock. But yeah, this very angry Lapras is the guardian or the holder of the fire element. So yeah, we're just gonna beat him up naturally. If you want something, just beat up the guy holding it. Actually, don't do that, please.
So this is a Zelda boss, so we have to repeat the same cycle 3 times. It's going to be a common thing that you'll notice throughout this run is that we repeat the same cycle 3 times and it beats the boss.
Yeah. They're so bored by our repetition that they just willingly give up whatever they've been holding onto. Yeah, it also looks a bit like Livia, but that's mostly just its neck and head thingy. But yeah, we're done with Hero Flames. And we're gonna watch this very long cutscene, which is like 25 minutes, yeah, 25 seconds long. And yeah, Myth still has to remember that he actually has to pick up the red sword, the repaired sword.
You forget to go back to Malari to get the sword once. You never live it down.
Yeah. So this starts a recurring theme. So whenever Link picks up an element, he's got to take his magical sword, and he has to, engraft the power of the element onto the sword itself. In this case, the only place here where we actually can do that is directly beneath Hyrule Castle. How convenient. But yeah, this is what we would refer to as the green sword. Actually, it's called the white sword, but it's got a green handle. It's the green sword. And this sword can change the color of its handle, depending on how many elements are actually loaded onto it. Additionally, this sword actually deals more damage than the one that you originally had. The one we originally had was the magnum opus. The magnum opus of the sword that your grandfather smithed or made. And Link just casually throws that away once he gets his magical sword. For some reason, he doesn't keep it as a keepsake. I don't know, might be useful to get, to have a sword done by the best blacksmith of Hyrule.
Yeah, that's such a common thing in Zelda games, is as soon as you unlock, the Master Sword or something like that, then Link just throws away his, family heirloom sword.
Yeet! Yeah. But yeah, now we're gonna make our way into the Holy Sanctuary, or the Elemental Sanctuary beneath Hyrule Castle. It kind of depends on which language you're using. Yeah, in German it's like the Holy Sanctuary. In English it's the Elemental Sanctuary. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, what we just did in town there as well was we went up to a wind crest and checked it, and what that does is it opens up a warp point for later on in the run, so we'll be able to fast travel back to town to save some time.
Yeah, these weird crests are basically all portals for fast traveling later on in the game, which we're gonna make use of. You can see that we didn't actually activate the portal up in Krennel or down in Minish Woods, just because we're never gonna get there again. These places are done. We can just forget about them. So
but
this is
town's a place that we come back to multiple times in the run.
Yeah, and with the power of the purple and the red element, which is earth and fire, the white sword has become the white sword of 2. But because white sword of 2 sounds very boring, it's the red sword. This sword introduces the other main gimmick of Minish Cap, which is that Link can clone himself. This might ring a bell or two for people who have played Four Swords. This game is actually the origin story of your magical Four Sword, which means that as Link progresses through the game, his sword is going to become more powerful, and subsequently Link is able to conjure up more clones of him. These clones deal damage, which means that their swords are... their swords should logically be, a thing because they deal damage, but they can just face into things and just, disappear. Oh, look at that! We're gonna get ambushed by Vati.
Quick, run after him.
Yeah, this game's main antagonist, while being infinitely more flashy and more flamboyant than Ganondorf...
Got the nice quick kill there.
Yeah, he's got fairly similar ambitions. Vati is on the hunt for something called the Light Force, which is something that's not the Triforce, but he's just, he's searching for it. And the way he's doing it is that actually he took a little magical cap the mages had, and, just used it on himself, selfishly, to turn himself into a sorcerer, because as it turns out, Vati actually was a Picori, or a Minish, and he's been the apprentice of Ezlo.
Yeah, that's what happened in that cutscene just there. It was Ezlo recanting the story about how he got turned into a hat by Vati and betrayed.
Ah, no, betrayal! But yeah, I think in lore...
I have to do guard skip one more time.
Yeah. So once again, guard skip is completely optional. You can just show the guard that you can spin your sword. But Link is just he should not. He's just not having that.
We're too cool for that. We're going for swag strats.
Yeah, we're gonna do a few more flashy things in this speedrun. They might lose us some time, but they're cool to look at.
Now for the best cutscene in the game.
Ah, PK-gasm. Yeah. So I don't even know why this is called PK-gasm. PK is a fellow speedrunner of Minish Cap, and fellow idiot, and he just named after him. There we go. But yeah, Vati decides, hey, what would be nice if I were able to control all of Hyrule's soldiers. So I'll just do unspeakable things to the king and impersonate him. That way the guards can actually, do my bidding. And what Vati is basically telling the guards here in this cutscene is just, oh, we need the Light Force to beat Vati. Go look up the Light Force. Go search for it. And in actuality, no one actually has heard of that thing. And
I think he also mentions to lock down the castle and not let anyone in.
Yeah.
So we just went up to that sign there and read it, and that's actually really important. That sets the flag for the next sequence in the story to happen. So what the sign said is, Castor Wilds is over to in this direction. Make sure you bring your Pegasus boots. So we're going to go back to town, and we're going to talk to the cobbler to try and get the Pegasus boots. However, he just fell asleep as soon as we came in here, so we're going to turn into a Minish.
He's a bit of an insomniac, and now we actually need to get a piece of medicine to wake him up. But yeah, the sign basically was just, an advertisement for the cobbler, as one reads. And this cobbler's little gimmick is that, so there's this little fairy tale of the cobbler who makes the most wonderful shoes. In actuality, it's actually the Minish, or in the fairy tale, it's little like fairy thingies that make those shoes whenever he sleeps. So yeah, whenever he sleeps, the Minish actually just come out of their hiding holes, and they magically do shoes and make shoes. And Rem, sorry, yeah, he's called Rem. Yeah. He's like, oh, I did shoes in my sleep, and yeah, that's a good business model on paper.
Yeah, when Capcom made this game, they were heavily inspired by like European folk tales. So you have like the tale of like the cobbler that made shoes in his sleep, and there's something we're not going to see in this run, but you can create beanstalks and climb them up into the sky.
Yeah, and that's a chest up there, or like a couple of chests. But yeah, I mean, if you have to come up with like different ideas for a game about little people, that's one of the things you might want to look out for. But yeah. So yeah, this London ranch, Myth is just going to ignore Malin and Talon. While Malin sells milk later on in Hyrule Castle, in Hyrule Town, sorry. His next point of interest is actually the little hut of Syrup the witch. She sells a mushroom that's just so smelly and so stinky that anyone who smells it immediately wakes up. And yeah, it's medicine apparently, but it's probably just some very stinky mushroom that she just picked out of the forest. And we're gonna use that mushroom to just wake up the cobbler, who, as a thank you, gifts us the Pegasus boots, which lets us be able to run fast.
This mushroom costs 60 rupees, which was why we had to grab one of the chests in the dungeon we were just in. That was a chest with 50 rupees, and we also grabbed a 20 rupee drop from a pot on the way to the second dungeon as well, so that we have enough to buy the mushroom.
Yeah. But yeah, so the reason why we're actually just going to get those Pegasus boots is because the next dungeon lays past a swamp. And since swamps are actually very dangerous, if Link would just walk into the swamp, he would just, drown there. So we need something that lets Link run so fast that he can just, run on top of swamp water. Unfortunately, he's not going to be fast enough to walk over water just yet. That's going to come later down the line.
Yes, we do turn into Jesus at some point in the run and be able to walk on water.
Yeah. Usually Link would actually need a pair of flippers, because as one does, you need little flippers to actually be able to swim. But yeah.
Here at Castor Wilds, we're going to be collecting 3 golden kinstones and doing the first instance of the kinstone mechanic that's present in this game.
Yeah. So out of like these 100 and I'm gonna say 9 or 108 kinstones. Oh, sorry, possible.
It's exactly 100.
Oh, what? Yeah. Well, do the golden
That's including the golden ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's exactly 100 Kinstone fusions, and including 8 golden ones. And out of those 100, we are maybe gonna do like maybe 9 of them, maybe 10. And yeah, upcoming is actually our next piece of RNG manipulation. We're gonna go for a Kinstone manip. Later down the line, we are actually going to pick up a magical boomerang. 9 golden ones. Yes, they're 9 golden fusions. I can't count. Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah.
Good Moldoza fight there.
Yeah.
Open the chest.
So whenever we save and quit, the game gets set on a specific RNG seed. And with some luck, some rolls, and some sword swipes, we're able to manipulate the RNG into giving us a desirable amount of kinstones. Right now we need 4 green kinstones. And Myth is attempting quad manip here. He's failing though, not being able to get it.
Doing it again. I only got 2.
Yeah. It's technically fine to just get 2, but quad is more flashier and it's, you know...
There we go, there's 4.
There we go. So these are the 4 green kinstones that Link needs. Because since this is a... So, Minish Cap feels very much like a best-of all Zeldas. You know, it's got the Rock's Cape, it has the Pegasus boots, it also has Tingle.
Yeah, that quad minute we just did there is a huge run killer if you don't get it first try.
Yeah.
So really happy to get that in the marathon.
Yeah. It's not the OG Zelda, but, you know, it's like the nexus of all Zelda games. And, you know, as every good Zelda game should have, it has Tingle. And it doesn't only have Tingle, but 4 of them. You've got, I can't recall the names, Tingle, Pinkle, Swingle, and David Jr.
That's the German names. It's Knuckle and Ankle and David Jr.
Okay. Fantastic. But yeah, that's our last gold kinstone. And now that we have all 3 of them, we can just run over to these Mayan statues and give them all loot. And as a thank you for that, they're gonna open our way to Wind Ruins. One thing that you might notice when, you know, just reading through Minish Cap stuff, there's a lot of things that have the name Wind in it. Oh, sorry, that just have the word Wind in their name. You've got the Fortress of Winds, the Wind Ruins. You've got the Palace of Winds, the Wind Tribe. Vati himself is a wind sorcerer later down the line in Four Swords.
It's like this game was like heavily influenced by a Zelda game that focuses a lot around wind, such as the Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Capcom basically took all of the artwork from the Wind Waker and then did a beautiful job of adapting it to pixel art. This is one of the prettiest looking Zelda games. It's really fantastic how much work that they put into making this game look good.
Yeah. I mean, this thing runs on the Game Boy Advance. For that, it looks amazing. They even borrowed the sprites and the art direction later for Four Swords Adventures, which also looks phenomenal. But yeah, these things are the Armor's Knights that some may recall from other Zelda games. In this game, they're more or less clockwork soldiers that Link has to, you know, switch on and off as a little Minish. I really love the idea behind those little soldiers. You know, just imagine an entire dungeon is basically just one of those things, but you have to fight yourself from the bottom to up to the top. That'd be amazing. But yeah, our next dungeon is Fortress of Winds.
Before we gain access to there, we have to kill all of the enemies in this area.
Yeah.
Without dying.
Yeah, don't die, please.
I am on a quarter heart. This is fine. Mm-hmm. Was that a heart? That was a heart. I'm grabbing that.
Yeah. So Myth needs some help here, because his next trick will involve him getting damage boosted by a bomb over a wall.
We're also going to take damage from enemies intentionally along the way as well. So we're actually quite tight on health here.
Yeah. Yeah, he had some muscle memory from other Zeldas, I think.
Yeah, no, I was practicing the other way of doing that room.
Okay. Yeah, muscle memory. Just by muscle memory, it's fine. So, as you might see, this game has... this dungeon has a few impassable objects there. A few, you know, patches of dirt. Luckily for us, there is a set of moments hidden deep in the dungeon. just, we're gonna grab that, or those. We're gonna pick up a kinstone that is on the line, and we're gonna make our way back to this very room here.
Yeah, everything we're doing right here, we're gonna do like straight away as soon as we go and grab our marmots. We're just doing this first to grab a small key so we can get access to the area of the dungeon that has the marmots.
Yeah. Usually this dungeon requires you to pick up 2 small keys to unlock the doors, the paths towards this dungeon's item and this dungeon's big key. But we're just gonna grab the item and gonna skip the big key, because of course we are. The big key takes ages to pick up here as well.
Yeah, the boss key in this dungeon is a really slow one to get. It's like particularly slow. Really nice Stalfos there. He was getting. It wasn't good at all. He was getting in the way. He was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's classic enemy RNG. They like to get in the way as much as possible.
Yeah. But yeah, upcoming is the next Darknut fight. We fought one earlier in Castor Wilds, which was the swampy region. But this one is red. The other one was silver. Well, only silver.
That's a silver one too.
Yeah, but he's got red highlights. Probably like higher up in the Darknut Legion, I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna pick up the moments here shortly. And after that, we're gonna return to the tower where we picked up the where we picked up the small key.
So
just use those.
This is beginning another RNG manipulation.
Yeah, so what Myth is currently attempting here is the so-called armors clip. Since the armors are weirdly coded, we can use them to clip through 1 pixel wide gaps, which we're gonna do. And following this armors clip is another little glitch, which is once again our lovely portal items that Myth showed off in Minish Woods. But this time we're gonna use the mitts to clank onto the portal. And if you do that, Link gets dislocated just a tiny bit, and he's able to.
Unfortunately, it didn't work. I looked at the sparkles, and it's from that pattern. I was supposed to do 2 rolls, but it didn't work.
Yeah, it's a very tight thing actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that didn't work, but
yeah.
Oh well.
So we're gonna dislocate Link onto the portal, and we're gonna use a bomb to damage boost us, up and beyond. To infinity and beyond, basically. And we're gonna fight another boss here that one may recognize from Wind Waker, actually. This is Mazal, or as he's been known in Wind Waker, Godhan. Was it Godhan? Yeah, I think so. Basically, the boss of the Tower of the Gods in Wind Waker. But this time, he's not blue, he's yellow. He's got a Mayan Aztec theme. And, similar to the other... similar to that one Zelda boss. You shoot his hands to make him vulnerable on the head. But this time, we're actually going to shrink down, and we're going to destroy him from the inside. As metal as that sounds.
Yeah, this is a really cool boss. It's quite unique.
Yeah. Basically, his vulnerable spot is actually in his head. And if we wouldn't have Aslo, we wouldn't have, a single way to actually defeat him. He's supposed to be like a guardian of, this dungeon's element, which is going to be the wind element. Because, it's the Fortress of Winds, obviously there's the wind element there. But yeah, and now that we actually, made him a bit more vulnerable, there's a few patches of dirt in his head. Don't know where they came from, but we gotta get rid of them. And yeah, one thing that Myth does here is so-called boots cancelling. Using the boots, we can cancel the drawback animation of the bow, just to have a bit of a, speedier bow usage here.
Pretty good RNG on the which of the pillars which were vulnerable inside of his head. We found the pillars straight away. They're randomly dispersed inside the head, but they're all at the front there, which is really nice.
Yeah, we also want to stay on one heart here, just because...
Oh no, I missed the heart container.
Oh,
I'm on low health. I hope I don't die.
yeah. Don't die, Myth. Oh, what's that? As it turns out, the Wind Tribe left the Fortress of Winds, and they left behind the Ocarina of Winds. And psych, there never was an element here to begin with. So, we can't get the wind element right now, so we better just move on to the next, which is going to be the water element. And obviously, it's going to be in the water temple. Sorry, in the Temple of Droplets. But
So-
first,
We're now at the hour mark of the run. If you haven't had a drink yet, make sure you do so.
yeah, stay hydrated. And yeah, now we're gonna talk to all 4 Tingles to, you know, get their Kinstone fusions done. And what we're currently gonna want to get is the magical boomerang, because that's useful later down the line in the next dungeon. And this magical boomerang lets us, you know, skip a boss door. Sorry, clip through a boss door. But yeah, right now, Myth's also gonna activate a fusion here at this stranger's house. He might be called Stranger, but he's actually a member of the Wind Tribe. And this little fusion right here opens up a portal to way later down in the game, which is the Tower of the Wind Tribe. If we were to walk into that thing right now, we wouldn't get that far. But using our trusty ocarina, we can later, you know, do little thingies and, you know, abuse that.
So, the reason why we were, at this point in the game, we want to go over to Temple of Droplets, which is the next dungeon. And in order to do all of the stuff in that dungeon, we need to have the flippers. However, we've discovered a bunch of glitches which are going to let us skip anything that we would have to use the flippers for. So there are 2 items we need to be able to skip the flippers completely in this speed run. The first one's the ocarina, which we've just picked up, and the second one is the magic boomerang, and that's why we're going to fuse with all of the Tingle brothers right now to get the magic boomerang.
Yeah, and yeah, but you don't clip through the boss door, but it's called the boss door clip. You know, what we're gonna do in Temple of Oh, yeah. What we're gonna do is basically that we are going to, you know, just ignore loading zones. And, you know, we're just gonna go out of bounds, just waltz right out of bounds and skip like half of this temple. Which, you know, Droplets is very long. But yeah, Myth just uncovered the magical boomerang's hiding spot. Took some maybe some intentional damage, who knows. He's very low on health.
I keep on hitting these enemies. I really need to stop it, otherwise I'll die.
Yeah, you don't want to die here.
I really hope I don't die.
We're raising so many red flags here. But yeah, now with that magical boomerang that we are gonna get shortly, well, it's actually gonna be like a few more minutes. We have to go down into those little tree trunks. We need to step on switches. We're gonna, you know, the usual Zelda stuff, basically. Other than that, though, yeah. So while we don't need the boomerang to actually enter Temple of Droplets, we need it to, you know, navigate through Temple of Droplets and, you know, skip a few things.
Yeah, apologies for the beeping hearts. This isn't like the Gen 1 Pokemon speedruns. We're not gonna stay on low health for much longer.
Yeah, we can't really use Red Bar in here, as much as we would have loved to. But lucky enough, it's just the regular heartbeating sound. It's not like, I don't know, the sound of a cat meowing when you're on low health. Yeah, so in the randomizer, we have a ban list. We roll seeds, and the worst seed rollers get punished with a special-made ROM hack. And in the last one, our friend Albert here, who's also in chat, and a few others, managed to switch out the heart beeping sound for cat meowing. So that was nice.
Okay, now we've got the magic boomerang, we can head over to Lake Hylia and make our way into the dungeon. The next, like, section of the game is going to be pretty intense. Lots of funky stuff's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll do my best to explain. So, what we're going to do here is Lakehouse Uji. This is the first instance of our Ocarina glitch. And, yeah, so the Ocarina glitch is basically a hand-me-down version of the exploration glitch from A Link to the Past. Using the Ocarina glitch.
Oh no, I died.
Oh no! Oh, it's a good thing that you had the ferry.
That's £5.
Okay, but yeah. So what Myth is doing here is that he's trying to yeet the door so that we can use its loading transition as a way to enter Ocarina glitch. The Ocarina glitch is basically a way for us to trigger the game into not updating Link's height. Which means that, you know, Link's able to walk on water.
Alright, we got it.
We got it.
That's a frame perfect trick.
Yeah.
We have to play up and then play the Ocarina the frame after.
Yeah, so this game is now officially broken.
And we turned into Jesus and walked over water.
Yeah. Using the Ocarina glitch, we can just not be bothered by like pitfalls and water and all that pesky stuff. However, to activate it, we either need a loading zone that is behind the door, or a staircase that we can walk into. And this is basically frame perfect in a 60 FPS game. Meaning that, you know, to get OG, it's pretty difficult. Adding to that,
with enough practice, it becomes pretty consistent.
Yeah, but
even though it's incredibly precise.
You usually either walk into the loading zone, and you know, you know, walk down the staircase. Yeah, OG also has multiple states. The first state is that it just stops time as well. However, if you're in that weird... So, if you stop time, turns out time is very broken, and, you know, the smallest thing can disrupt the space-time continuum and cause our game to softlock. And if Link tumbles, or, you know, bongs against the wall, the space-time continuum will break.
I really have to resist the urge to do a roll every time I do an Ocarina glitch.
Yeah,
because that will cause a soft lock, and you can't even pause and save. You have to go back to wherever you saved last.
Yeah, you basically just have to reset your game at this point. Sorry, not the save state, and not the save, but you know, the game itself. You need to return to the title screen. But yeah, Myth just picked up it's about to pick up a small key. He picked up the big key, and using those two little things, we can, you know, just break this dungeon. We need the small key to uncover a door, and we need the big key to, you know, to break the boss door, as one does. Because we don't open that boss door, we just smash it into pieces.
Yeah, we're going to... This is why we grabbed the magic boomerang, so that we can be able to clip out of bounds.
Yeah. Turns out, if you hold and if you press and hold the magical boomerang, then what you can do is that, you know, Link can go through the door, but you won't trigger the loading zone for it, basically. There we go. Yeah, and he gets it.
Really bad subpixels. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, Myth is paying attention to.
I haven't had it take that long before.
Yeah, he's looking very hard at a few sparkles made by the Cane of Patchy. Sorry. Yeah, the Cane of Patchy. But yeah, this is now the halfway point of the dungeon.
Both these guys are on top of each other.
Yeah. Normally you would probably take about 5, 6, 7 minutes to actually enter this room.
We skipped like 60% of the dungeon.
Yeah.
To get to this point.
Yeah. As you can see the boss and the element right now, which is the water element encased in ice. And, you know, to deal with that, we are going to open up a hole above us, which would normally be water, but it's not. So it's sunshine. Fantastic. And yeah, as you can see down there, just eyeing that element is this dungeon's boss. Octorok. Well, we call him Big Octo, or her. Sorry, we call her Big Octo. But
so in the regular speedrun, we would do another Ocarina glitch there. However, I'm going to be doing a slightly different route here. Back in August, we discovered a brand new glitch called Lily Clipping, and it turns out it's ever so slightly slower. It's about 10 seconds slower than doing Ocarina glitch and getting a first try Ocarina glitch. But I wanna show it off.
Yeah, it's more fancy. Basically, what we're doing is we're gonna, just trick loading zones again. Poor loading zones. Oh well. It's a small price we pay for going fast. So, usually if Link is on a lily pad and, there's a trigger, yeah, as you can see, just things happened. Link gets out of bounds and things happen. Myth is now on the other side of that room that we were before.
Yeah. We're definitely in the back end of the mullet section of this speedrun. This is... From this point on, it's going to be quite difficult to explain everything that's going on, and it's just fun to watch how broken this game becomes.
Yeah, all thanks to the Ocarina, which means that, music is important and it's powerful. Always learn your instruments. But yeah, okay, that's the water element, and as soon as, Stonk, as he's called here, defeats Octo, he can pick it up.
In order to defeat Octo first, we do need to get the Flame Lantern from this dungeon, which is located at the mini-boss.
Yeah. So, we're just gonna make our way onto the mini-boss. People who have been watching for the last hour may remember that mini-boss. But, he seems familiar, but I just can't put my finger on it for some reason.
Yeah, when we get into the room, everyone may recognize if they've been watching since the start.
Yeah. Because, it's like, we can't use that enemy again, but we need to change it. Oh, let's make it blue.
I've seen this cutscene before.
Yeah. I wonder who that is. Turns out, it's Wobbuffet all along.
It's a Wobbuffet.
Yeah, we've got a habit of nicknaming everyone and everything in Minish Cap. And yeah, this is Wobbuffet. Because, he's a big, blue, slimy thingy. Okay, granted, here he's electrified, but
I lost a cycle. I hate this boss so much. This boss is pure RNG, and I just lost like 10 seconds here to that.
Yeah.
There we go.
But yeah, so Wobbuffet is a bit electrified. I don't know. Maybe he touched the socket. Who knows? But yeah, this boss is awful. Hello, Tumba. Yeah. It's Quark's. It could be Quackslayer.
Really bad RNG.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, I don't know. It has been established as Wobbuffet, so we're probably just gonna keep that. Makes you wonder what a regular Wobbuffet would look like with its eyes open.
This is the worst RNG I've had in all of practice. This is insane.
This is once again a 3-cycle, but if the electricity is going, Link can't damage Wobbuffet. Oh, sorry, Blue Tube. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, let's ignore that happened.
Nothing happened. We're gonna pick up the fire rod. Whoopsie, no, hang on, it's the lantern. So the fire rod actually was supposed to be the lantern, but Capcom changed their mind halfway through the game, and they left a few remnants of the fire rod. So this game has, similar to Wind Waker, a figurine gallery.
I can't press a button.
Yeah, pressing buttons is difficult. Okay, yeah, figurine gallery, sure. And the figurine gallery basically gives us descriptive world-building text for each enemy and each NPC. And in the European version, the Ice with Rope has text similar to like, oh, they're weak against fire. Use your fire rod. But we only have a lantern, no fire rod.
So here we're fighting the boss of this dungeon, Octo. This boss, the third stage of this boss is like pure RNG. However, we're doing an RNG manipulation here to avoid losing up to a minute, and instead we'll hopefully get the cycle with 0 inks.
Yeah, hopefully. So yeah, basically what Octo can do in the last phase is she can, spew ink onto the screen, which makes her invulnerable for the next 30 or so seconds. So basically each ink cycle loses us 30 seconds. And we can get realistically anywhere from 0 to 2.
Yeah, and then we just stand here in this corner and she's going to fire 3 rocks at us.
Yeah. That's just the RNG mana, I suppose.
There we go.
Which is nice. There we go. So this is the 0 ink pattern. That's the one that we want. And hooray! There's the last element. Oh, hang on, no. We completely forgot about the wind element. But
yeah, it turned out the wind element wasn't at the Fortress of Winds when we went to get him. We got the Ocarina instead.
Yeah. So basically what would happen right now is that the ghost of Hyrule's long since past, King Daltus? No, Gustav.
It's Gustav here, yeah.
Gustav, yeah. He basically is like, hey, I know where the element is. Come meet me in my tomb. And, he's in the graveyard. But being the royal Hyrulean that we are going to ignore the king. Sorry, it's not even the king anymore, so we don't need to listen to him. And instead, we're going to utilize the Tower of the Wind tribe that we, uncovered earlier. But wait, first we need to actually go back to Hyrule Castle, and we need to fuse the blue element, the water element.
That's right. As soon as we grab a new element, we want to head back to Hyrule Castle to infuse our sword and gain more power in the sword, which will let us be able to create more clones. So I'm going to get a heart here. Damn it, I lied.
So
I got that every time in practice. If you get the RNG minute properly, then you normally get a heart drop from one of those bushes.
I never got one. Makes me wonder. But yeah, this is also one of those things that you only screw up like once in your speedrunning career of Minish Cap. If you're too hasty and you forget to, you forget to graft on the water element onto your sword. Just like, hey, I have a very good time for Palace of Winds right now. Why can't I clone?
Yeah, imagine saving a minute on this split and going, whoa, how did I save so much time? Well,
yeah, and in actuality you just forgot to actually, get that sword done. So yeah, this is now the White Sword of 3. But because that's too long of a name, it's the Blue Sword. It got a blue handle, it's the Blue Sword.
Yeah, and we can create an additional clone.
Yeah, and basically the next dungeon has, puzzles that require one more clone that we can offer without, basically. It happens more than expected. Yes, I've already been one of those people who forgot to fuse their blue sword.
You always do it once. It's a trick.
Yeah.
It's a mistake you make once, and then you'll never make again.
Yeah.
Because you'll be permanently shamed about it.
I have yet to... Apologies. I have yet to forget my sword at Malawi after Cable Flames. But yeah, once again, more OGs. As it turns out, thanks to OGs, we can just ignore people.
That's another £5.
Yeah, it's another $5. So yeah, once again, it's a frame perfect trick. And if we get it, we can just walk through certain people. And, because this game doesn't expect us to do that, the same person is on the same floor, is on the next floor again.
Yeah, just another £5.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, you either get it first try or you get it 10th try.
There is no in between.
There we go.
Yeah. So this
The resort.
the three swords.
True.
Yeah. So, welcome to Palace of Winds.
This is a fun dungeon.
Yeah.
This is my favorite.
Once again, it's like, you know, it's a place with palaces. It once again has the name Winds in it. Oh, sorry, the word. And yeah, it's actually the second to last dungeon. Minish cap is surprisingly short. No pun intended. Hey, yeah.
Why did my clones this way round? I never done that in practice. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if Link gets hit, sorry, if Link's clones or Link gets hit, they just plop and disappear in the thin air.
That's one of the trickiest rooms in the dungeon because there's so much enemy RNG. You have to avoid those Stalfos, and if they're just mean, there's not really much you can do about it. You can try and dodge them as much as you can, but
That was close.
Imagine breaking the block in this room.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
There's always the first time
there's our marathon. That's never happened before.
I think it happened to me before, but then again, I'm scrapped this game. But yeah, upcoming is this game's, this dungeon's mini boss, and because you know we ran out of good mini bosses, the dungeon's just gonna chuck like a dozen of them onto us. Yeah, these are whiz ropes.
Nice. Got the quick kill.
Yeah.
That's a really cool fight to watch.
Yeah. Since we don't really have the Firewatch, we have to use our lantern, and we actually get the cape here. So this is the Vox cape. People might know it from its other appearances in the Oracle's games, or Link's Awakening, I think. Yeah, but there it's the Vox feather. Once again, here's a small, there's a small speed strat. We skip like 2 or 3 rooms, and you know, we just continue our merry way onto Palace of Winds. Yeah, so the Vox cape enables Link to just jump.
Yeah, in that previous room we did a really tight jump there. It's not that tight, it's with enough practice you get really consistent at it, but that skipped quite a few rooms there. It saves about 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, and so one of the old routes has what's called bracelet skip. If you remember the talk about the power bracelets, turns out you can actually activate OGs off of cutscenes as well.
And luckily we don't need to do that anymore because that was awful.
That was a travesty. Because basically, if we were to attempt a cutscene skip, a cutscene OG, we would need to, we would need to be frame perfect with a cutscene, and if you miss that one frame window, oh look at that! What's that, Myth? What are you doing there?
So this is angle retention. Remember we did that back in the fire dungeon, Cave of Flames? We're doing it again here to jump diagonally out of these holes to land out of bounds.
Yeah, we can just, you know, ignore collision once again and just jump out of bounds. This is what's known as the rebel hop. And, you know, we're just using that to save a small key usage, basically, and to skip a puzzle. There we go.
Everything else in the next few rooms here are, like, really straightforward and just, like... It's just really nice to watch what happens in these rooms. Yeah,
it's like, you know, loads and loads of just tight movement, and, you know...
nearly made it.
Yeah. This cycle is actually fairly tight.
I made a... Oh my god, okay.
You can do it, we believe in you. But yeah, upcoming is going to be another boss door clip. So this is actually why we saved the small key usage. the boss key is...
Why am I jumping there?
I don't know. Why are you just... What are you doing there?
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Just ignore that.
It's just enough getting to him. Yeah, so, we kill everyone hidden here. Two ball and chain soldiers.
That is only 5 hits.
Yeah, named after members of the Randomizer community.
Right, swag jump. We
There
jumped
we go.
into the air and caught the key in midair.
Yeah. But yeah, now that we have the big key, we're gonna do another boss door clip. Like once before. And, you know, we're just gonna skip this second half of this dungeon.
Okay. If I didn't get that loses 4 minutes and was basically
Yeah.
run over.
Yeah.
I did that once in practice and I really made sure not to mess that up.
It was fun to watch though, because we never get to see that part of the one actually. But yeah, this is York.
Cool. Yeah, we just skipped the entire second half of the dungeon there and we are now in the boss.
Yeah. Basically, this dungeon is like, it's one big tower. The first half is you walk around the tower, making your way upwards. Then you jump down, and the second half is just going inside the tower, upwards. But yeah, this is the York pair. The York pair is a pair of flying manta rays, which actually deals a surprising amount of damage. Like, each one of those glowing orbs that you can see deals like 1 heart of damage. So you don't, you know, it's a bit tight. You don't want to really get damaged by too many of those. Thankfully, there are a few fairies inside and just before that dungeon.
Getting a good fight so far. Nice RNG.
George. Oh yeah, sure. So continuing the tradition of nicknaming everything. Sorry.
Oh, I
everything
can't believe I did that.
Everyone.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I got good RNG with the eyes. You can do a spin attack if the eyes give you that pattern to avoid having to create clothes.
Yeah. So the nickname for this boss is George, because you know it's York, but if you formulate it's George. Same goes for Mazel, who we fought earlier in Forza Winds. His nickname is Gordon, just because Godhand, which is his name in Rebecca, sounds a lot like Gordon. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
that's
that was a good fight. Yeah.
Yeah, that was neat.
And we have all 4 of the elements now, so we can make our final trip to Hyrule Castle to fully upgrade our sword.
Yeah, but instead of the green sword, which we already got once, we're getting the golden one, the Four Sword. And you might remember this sword from Four Swords or Four Swords Adventures. Yeah, it's another one of those mystical swords that, you know, only this sword is strong enough to vanquish the evil guy's spell. In this case, it's Vati and his Warlock's Curse in Zelda, which, you know, turned her to stone. And yeah, luckily enough, we don't have it that far until the next dungeon, since the next dungeon is going to be Dark Hyrule Castle. In the time Link takes to actually use his sword, Vati has, you know, he's been doing some work, he's been doing some DIY, some renovation, and he really made Hyrule Castle look unique. But luckily, we've got our trusty ocarina, which means that we just can skip almost everything of this thing. Well,
Yeah,
everything,
hopefully
but,
I won't
you know.
spend an hour in DHC.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do a rain.
The
The first instance of Minish Cap being speedrun at Games Done Quick, unfortunately, the runner got lost in the final dungeon and took an hour to finish, but we will hopefully only take about 15 minutes to get through the dungeon and get to the final boss.
Yeah, the rain will. Yeah, so if you're good at this game, you take 15 minutes, and if you're very good at this game, you can perhaps take 10 minutes in this dungeon. We've had Toadswood, another speedrunner, recently.
Oh no, I reset.
10 minutes. Oh no!
I accidentally reset the game and we're watching the intro cutscene again. Do we have enough time to do another run? That's a joke. It's fine. We're watching a normal cutscene.
It's a joke. But yeah. So the introductory cutscene was basically a set of, neat little windows. And we're watching those windows again. But hang on, there's one more. Basically, these windows explain, there was a terrible war 100 years ago, and the hero of man got the holy sword from the Minish and vanquished evil, and he left behind a sword and the Light Force. As it turns out, the Light Force is inside Zelda. If you want to be all lore master like, it could be the essence of Hylia, who knows? But in this game, it's known as the Force. Just because the connection between Hylia and Zelda wasn't really a thing back in 2004. And, I spilled water, goddammit.
We need the full sword here.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a glitch in the next room. It's not going to look like a really fancy glitch or anything, but when we unpetrify the soldiers that have been turned to stone, they should freeze Link solid during the cutscene, and we shouldn't be able to walk, but we're going to be able to walk during this cutscene. It's going to save like about 10 seconds.
Yeah, cutscene walking is very good if you know it. I don't. And yeah, now we're in DHC. Probably one of the most difficult final dungeons, actually. You can be dealt a lot of damage here. So first up, we need to actually break out of the basement. Vati, being the evil mastermind that he is, he locked us in a, he locked us into the basement. But lucky for him, we got a piece of clay, with which help we're gonna just escape the basement using the Ocarina glitch. But yeah, using the Ocarina glitch, we can just make our way out of the basement, and
we walk backwards through the locked door and enter through the main entrance.
Link basically just went like, let me out. And now basically we need to find a way. So for how Ocarina glitch works, since it doesn't.
There was a cool trick there. We threw the bomb to blow up the statues at the same time as we did the sword slash, and it saves time having to create clones. What am I doing? A sword slash?
What are you doing there? Yeah.
I am 2 rooms ahead.
The way Ocarina glitch works is that it only sporadically updates Link's height. But it does always update Link's height if he's on a set of stairs that's like within a room. So we want to make sure that we come back to those stairs later, once we have actually OG. Because, we can do some more funky stuff and just use OG alongside the added height from the stairs to get Link onto layer 2. And layer 2 is basically above the room, meaning that Link can, he can just walk over the ceiling, no big deal, and we can make our way through DHC in a rather unconventional way. So what we need to do is we need to pick up a grand total of
hit the
4
trigger
small
there.
keys.
We do have a little bit of free time here, though. We're just going to be going around the dungeon and grabbing some small keys. If the host would like anything to say, they can go now.
Of course. We have a $80 donation by Butters saying, "Hey UKSG, it's me Butters. Wish all the runners good luck." And he split his donations over three bits. One would be $25 for the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Tuxedo run. The second one is for the Disney Pixar Brave, the custom choice, he choose the guard mail. And the third one is Pokemon Red and Blue Reverse Batch Order, the Charizard name, which will be Butters.
Okay, cool. So...
Yeah, so we grabbed a small key from the left-hand side of this area and did another save and quit and coming over to the right-hand side to get this. We've got one more Ocarina glitch coming up.
Which is, I think, the worst one that we actually do.
We do some hard stuff immediately after this Ocarina glitch.
Yeah, basically, the way Ocarina glitch works, you know, using its little antics and weird things, is that we can actually, so if we're in the air while we do a scene transition here, we can just jump over the door, as, you know, shown. There's a second door going, and there's the big key door. Unfortunately, we're still lacking the big key, so we need to pick that one up. Vati being, you know, as
nice,
being the crafty little beggar that he is, decided to hide all 4 small keys.
I had a little bit of emulator lag there, but that's that was fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So the big key is hidden behind all 4 small keys, and you know, we're just gonna waltz into the towers. Yeah, another good showcase of Ocarina glitch. Hits don't exist anymore for us because we still have the Ocarina glitch enabled. So yeah, this is the Black Knight.
That was a fantastic DHC. That was a gold.
Yeah.
I golded that by 8 seconds.
Ooh, that's great. Yeah. So usually the Dark Knight or the Black Knight is supposed to be like, oh, he's the hardest Dark Knight ever. Turns out we can just pin him into the wall and just, you know, repeatedly stab him until he's dead.
I am 8 seconds behind my PB. So I'm gonna basically shut up and let Hendris talk throughout the rest of this.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, basically, we're just, you know, we're just gonna pick up one more small key to return to the big key chest. After that, we start another RNG map. So as it turns out, Vati is a complete madman, and he's very RNG dependent. So we're just gonna RNG manip Vati. No big deal. It's the worst thing ever. It's a horrible RNG manip, and we're gonna start the RNG manip as soon as we pick up the big key, and it will last over the gauntlet, Vati 1 and then Vati 2. So the issue with Vati 2 and Vati 1 is that, you know, they're very RNG dependent, and if we get bad patterns, it can cost us tens and tens of seconds. So what you're seeing is basically, you know, Myth just reset. He's picking up the big key. He's gonna go back to the boss door, open the boss door, and, you know, make his way through Vati. Unfortunately, Vati isn't really, you know, he's just playing around. He's like, oh, it's very important business. He has to extract the light force out of Zelda, killing her. And, you know, because he's a busy man, he kept a few bodyguards around. The first bodyguard being a ball and chain soldier called Gary. He's he's like a minor inconvenience. We just ignore him, just damage boost through him. The other bodyguards are, you know, just a set of Keatons. We're just gonna ignore them as well.
Manip died.
Oh dear. Okay. So yeah. Next one, and this is one of the harder ones. Not one, not 2, but 3 of them. So basically, the way the RNG manip works is that if we were able to get the RNG manip, if we're able to keep the RNG manip.
Okay, that was a fast Dark Knight fight anyway.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, so the Black Dark Knight would have charged towards us. Giving us a good pattern. But yeah.
I don't have. I'm not on PB pace anymore because my PB gets really good from this point on. So I'll come back and start doing commentary again.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, the Minip died in the Keaton room because I slashed too late and it dropped a Kinstone instead of a green rupee, which is unfortunate. But anyway, so this is going to be the first of the Vati fights. We need to slash the eyes with our sword and then slash his main body. Randomness is going to determine whether or not he does some teleports. Our RNG manipulation minimizes the amount of teleports that he does to minimize the amount of time we lose.
Yeah. So this is basically Vati, the Wind Demon, who doesn't really have any wind-based attacks, weirdly enough. But yeah, basically Vati's goal was, he's gonna extract the light force out of Zelda and he's gonna become a god, you know.
Oh my god, that was a fantastic fight. I've never had a fight that fast and non-minute.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great. No.
Ah. But yeah, now there's Vati too. You know, because he needs more power, he's gonna turn uglier as things work. Yeah, Vati is pretty much your average, so at least his design is like very Zelda-esque, you know, it's like just a lot of eyes.
Really bad RNG with that purple, the purple spikes landed exactly on the clone pads where we wanted to create our clones, so
yeah.
Really bad luck.
But yeah, so we have to uncover the ice using the bow. Vati has 4 red eyes and 4 blue eyes. The red ones are the vulnerable ones.
No.
The blue ones aren't.
Being really bullied. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so this is why we do Vati Minip. Or at least Myth does Vati Minip. I don't know it yet. Vati can be a pain to deal with.
Yeah. This fight is awful and you can lose huge amounts of time if you just get unlucky.
Yeah, like us.
This fight isn't too bad though. Still going to be losing time, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Sorry, I was slashing the eyes and it wasn't breaking them.
There we go, he gets it. But yeah, that's Vati 2.
Right, and yeah, that's the second stage of Vati. Those two, like, from that section from where we save and quit up to that is the most difficult section of the run. That is incredibly difficult, and we have to spend, like, the vast majority of our time in practice just practicing that over and over again.
I don't, because I don't know it. Yeah, you can YOLO Vati, but it's definitely not recommended. But yeah, hey, we saved Zelda. Problem is though, we can't get out of Dark Oak Castle because it's crumbling and, you know, like Ganon's Tower, there's things in our way. So, we gotta head back to our sanctuary. But, oh, would you look at that? Vati is actually not die.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't we say time? Surely we just beat the final boss, right?
No,
we need to save the princess first. Yeah. Ah, wait, what? Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, Vati's back for blood. He's not done with us yet. So actually, Vati 3 seems terrifying, and casually playing through the game, it's really hard because you just don't know what to do. But in the speedrun, he's a kind of a bit of a pushover.
He is still very precise though. So basically, Vati's second, I suppose, stage is that he throws ping pong balls at us, blue balls.
Boomerangs. Really good RNG.
Where did you throw that?
I was trying to throw it up and I can't press up.
Yeah, we saw that. But yeah,
he's being really slow here with his arm, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's like it's all RNG here. Unfortunately, we can't RNG Minip Vati 3 because of that portal that we have there. Basically, whenever there's a portal near Link, the RNG seed just goes bonkers.
Come here. I can't get him. There we
He's so
go.
slippery. There we go.
Okay, we got it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's only like one vulnerable item inside those arms. I don't know what's it with Vatian arms. Sorry, with Vatian arms, with Vatian eyes.
So we're on the very last stage of the fight, and we're going to repeat. Like this is a Zelda boss, so we're going to have to be playing tennis with him and shoot, volley back these electric orbs back at him. So that's the first hit that we did on him. After the end of the third hit, we're going to have time.
Yeah.
So this is the second one. We're going to have to throw bombs at him because bombs are cool. And then the third one hit. And then time will be when we hit the bomb. And time.
Hooray! GG! So yeah, that was Minish Cap in less than 2 hours. The game one would probably take like 2 to 3 days casually.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Myth, for running Minish Cap for us. Thanks, Andres, for joining in and doing amazing commentary together with Myth. Sorry, I'm really sorry, my brain zoned out for a second.
Yeah. See, this one was so amazing. We saved Zelda.
Yeah, coming up next will be Isle of E run by Kuno Demetra. But first we will go into a short intermission to set up everything. So stay tuned for that.